tonight. This is our regular board meeting for the Rockcastle County Board of Education. And it's always good to see a lot of our staff here, our teachers, the people who get to work with their children every day, one-on-one. We are so happy to have you here. Welcome. Uh, I'd like to call this meeting to order, and the first thing on our agenda tonight is a moment of silent prayer. Let the minutes note for a roll call that Miss Anna or Miss Angie is not here. Sorry, Manager.
That's okay.
The item 1C is the reading of board team commitments, and I'll read those tonight. I haven't read them in a while, so. Board team commitments for Rockcastle County Schools to improve our effectiveness. The board team for Rockcastle County Schools commits to review processes and experiences to identify and direct improvements, continuously define and work toward long-term goals which serve all students of the district, make each decision based on facts and the best for all students, listen to each other and speak freely, work together, support each other and not surprise one another, discuss board deliberations to point of mutually agreeable resolution based on factual information, support the majority's decision projecting board unity toward shared goals for continuously improving district-wide student learning, operate without personal or political agendas, respect one another, agree to disagree respectfully, delegate implementation to superintendent and education team, and to respectfully remind each other of these commitments. Item 2 is adopt the agenda. To Ms. Carey, there's nothing that we need to change that you're aware of?
No
Okay,
changes.
I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Item 3 is our public comments. We don't have anything, I think that was, we were notified of. Okay. Item 4 is our school and community showcase. This is the highlight of our evening. 4A is the staff recognition of upholding the core values of Rockcastle County Schools.
Yes. So during our strategic planning process and during our community-based accountability process, we work to establish the core values of Rockcastle County Schools, what that we feel like that our community and our school system stands for. I am going to read this off my phone because we do not have internet right now, and this is not uploaded, but the Rockcastle County core values that were established are respect, teamwork, honesty, commitment, integrity, and responsibility. So each principal was charged with nominating someone, an outstanding member within their school, whether that be a certified staff member, a classified staff member. This could be a food service, bus driver, teacher, instructional assistant, someone that works within their school building that embodies the values of Rockcastle County Schools. So this is the first board meeting that we've done this. So those of you that have been nominated tonight, we're very excited to honor you and to say thank you for the work that you do every day for kids. And it's hard for me not to get emotional about this as I look at you all, because I just so value the work that you do every day and appreciate you and thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I know from the board feels exactly the same way. So thank you for being rock stars in your building, and thank you for what you do every day for our kids. We very much appreciate you. So we do have a slideshow, and I'm just going to read this for each of you. This is what their principal of our building has turned in about each of our staff member. And if you'll come up, Miss Angie has a certificate for you, and we also have a tumbler to give you, which is just such a small token of our appreciation, but thank you for what you do. So we'll start with Miss Erin Grace. Miss Erin Grace has committed herself to creating a teacher education pathway at Rockcastle County High School. She has taken over the reins of our Educator Rising student group and is organized for her students to spend time in our elementary schools observing and researching opportunities in education. For her career efforts, Ms. Grace has been selected as the 23-24 Go Teach Kentucky Ambassador. The main focus of her role as an ambassador will be to elevate and grow the teaching profession through the use of social media and local interactions throughout the state of Kentucky. Congratulations to Ms. Erin Grace for her commitment to RCHS, our students, and our community. We're so proud of you, Miss Aaron, for this work. And if you don't care to just stay up here, we'll get a group picture when we're all finished. Miss Angie King. Miss Angie is representing Broadhead Elementary, and if you know Broadhead, you know Miss Angie. Miss Angie is committed to doing anything she can do to help Broadhead Elementary, our students, and their families be successful. She regularly goes above and beyond to help remove barriers that our students face so that they can be successful at Broadhead. She is not only a huge asset for our school, but for the whole Broadhead community. Miss Angie King. Mr. Chris Hendrickson. Mr. Chris is always willing to go above and beyond what is asked of him. He will step in to help with any student in any classroom throughout the day. He is also working with students to make sure they have had their questions answered during the evening, on weekends, and during school breaks. Students know they will get Mr. Hendrickson's best effort, and that makes them willing to give their best effort in return. Mr. Chris Hendrickson, and he is representing the Academy and the Mount Rocker Line. Miss Cassandra Smith. Miss Smith is always willing to go the extra mile. She volunteers her time and resources to ensure students and staff at RCMS have a warm and welcoming building to come to. She decorates the front entrance for every theme or holiday. She is involved in the spring musical, 8th grade night recognition, art club, rally decorations, and so much more. Miss Cassandra Smith. Opportunity to go to the middle school during Veterans Day, you got to see her work on display, and it was fabulous. Thank you. Miss Melissa Fairchild. Miss Fairchild is willing to take on any role needed in our building to ensure our students and our staff are well taken care of. She advises students, mentor teachers, and supports parents and administrators. She is the first person both students and staff call upon when they need help. Roundstone is a better place because Miss Fairchild is a part of our team. Mr. Lance Baldwin. Mr. Baldwin consistently focuses on providing high-quality instruction and high levels of student engagement every day. He continually strives to make every student better. Mr. Lance Baldwin. Miss Sherry goes above and beyond every day for the students at Mount Vernon Elementary School. She works across several grade levels while working alongside teachers to ensure that students get maximum instructional time. She is always working to help students reach their goals. Miss Sherry is an asset to Mount Vernon Elementary School. Miss Sherry. You all noticed a repetitive theme in these write-ups. These educators are consistently going above and beyond, and they're focused on students, and you just continuously hear that. So thank you all for what you do every day. And let's see, Brandon, do you want to get a group photo with that?
Can you guys come over here and stand for me? We usually take them over there, but it's.
All right, you all hold up your certificates. Let us be proud of you.
Chris really did this.
Congratulations to all of you. Thank you so much. You all are welcome to stay with us, but you absolutely do not have to attend the rest of the meeting. But
Before you do leave though, I would just like to say, you know, I think it speaks volumes. This is the first time we've ever done this, and the principal in your buildings chose you. Uh, you're doing something that is making a difference in lives every day. And, you know, whether you have strong work ethic or if you just have compassion in your heart or if it's a combination of whatever it is, you're making a difference in the world. You're making it a more beautiful, better place by investing your time. So thank you. And I know, you know, I hope it makes you feel good, but know your presence in these schools is making kids feel good. So thank you all so much.
well, we appreciate
And
you
happy
very much.
Thanksgiving. Okay, item 4B is Deco Architects or project update.
We're going to receive an update now from NECO, and then in operations and actions, we will approve the documents that he references in his presentation.
Good evening. Chris Phillips, Deco Architects. I'm here representing the company on the projects for the paving, Mount Vernon, and the high school. If we want to jump in. Yes, that's fine. So in this drawing series and meeting with Mr. Trent Clark on site, we identified issues that we saw with the paving at the site, as well as ADA issues getting access to the building. And so our focus throughout the drawing series was to help with those issues and fix a lot of problems that we saw with our drone surveys of that site. So if you just want to flip through, that is AGE's work, and they did a really good job of documenting all of the existing conditions and showing where changes were necessary to improve traffic flow and help with the issue of incoming traffic from parking on the road during student pickup. And we also focused on ADA issues at the bus loop and front of the school, where there was no real access for students to get off the bus and off of the pavement directly into the building. So we helped by cutting the curve down and making it level with the driving surface to allow for easier access, as well as additional parking in that area. That's that last sheet is alternates for the project, and going into this, we thought that we had more funding here, that we knew what to do with after talking with AGE, and so we came up with a set of alternates to provide the district with further needs and improve the pavement. And so that final sheet kind of describes that we're extending additional pavement out from the bus loop. If you go to the final sheet, sorry, of the civil series, so go back, right there. And so we're adding additional pavement there. If we come in under budget, it's an alternative that we can add into the scope of the project and improve those areas as well. And from there, let's jump into the next set of drawings. Oh, sorry. Go to we'll go to specifications. And here, this is the technical document that describes the changes that we make and product requirements required to do that job. And each section is kind of tailored to the site and the projects, making sure that the contractors know how to do things in a certain order to achieve the results we want. One of the main specifications in there that we paid close attention to was an admixture for concrete to prevent cracking in the future of pavement, like you can see at the high school, at the staircase and the sidewalk leading up to the school. And that's just a massive document. I think it's 60 something pages of just product information.
All of that's sort of Greek to me.
Yes.
But I do have a question.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so you're creating an area in the drive up to bring the traffic off of the main highway, correct? How far over? Will you explain that a little bit more in detail? Where will that start? I'm looking for trends. Where will that start at?
It's right past the state fence.
Yes.
We'd have to, it'd been a whole lot more complicated to do it if we extended that too, so. Plus the road's gonna widen.
Okay, I was just curious. I'm just curious where that's gonna start at, and like what
When
section.
the road widens will probably be the time to change the entryway, but all the groundwork will be laid there, right about where the Sarah Hannon sign is, pretty much.
And then it goes all the way up to.
Yep, all the way to the bus loop.
The trees are staying, so it'll be next to the trees.
Yes, that's
Trees are
perfect.
staying.
Trees are staying. Okay.
It'll be, I think
Good
it'll be
thing.
just
We
a
like
game,
trees, okay?
it'll be just a game changer for the high school. This project will. I mean, it's gonna be, a literal game changer because you're gonna get 12 more parking spots in front. You're gonna get a place that you can stage 4 or 5 cars to drop off at one time, and it's gonna be radiused instead of
That
in a
height.
hexagon, and it just makes sense.
Well, let me ask you another question. So when the drop off for students from the bus in the morning, which entrance are they using? Because I thought they used like the main entrance, but it
They
looked
do.
like in that picture that they're using another one.
No, they use
No,
they
they-
come up the steps and use the main
Okay,
entrance.
but isn't there another entrance on down there?
There are
There
two more.
Sheds a light on that. That's a handicap ramp.
Yeah.
From the bus loop coming up, and it comes up with ADA standards, 12-1 slope, so that's gonna come up and in, like right there by the front door of the high school, so it's kinda gonna
Okay.
jut out from that first, where, like where, the first set of classrooms is right there, that sidewalk, it's gonna come off of that and at a slope and then get up to the front door.
I'm excited for this. We need this.
Don't have to flip through all of those. It's a big document. Let's talk about the BG2. Do you see it? Okay, so we can stop here. It's fine. BG3. This is the numbers we got from that project, and it's under our initial estimate. With everything included, and that's where we're.
We need to vote for this right now.
Yeah.
Like at this very moment.
And we did it today.
We've added, Lucas has helped me add lines for those alternates at the bottom under other costs. So that's what we're thinking everything will be at the end of the project with everything included that you requested initially. So we're a good chunk under at the moment, but I guess we can review the BG2 now, if you can find that document. It's right up there, yes. So this is another document just describing general energy requirements for the project. And due to the fact that it's primarily all exterior paving, there's not a whole lot in there. So we're also requesting approval for that just to get it through KDE and move forward with the project.
Do we also have the same stuff from Mount Vernon, or is that?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
next.
Yeah, we got a whole lot of BGs on
I
that.
got you. Oh, yeah.
Did you have any more questions on this project? Start with drawings, construction documents, down one.
Those
So-
aerial photos really paint the picture.
Right.
Says it all, doesn't it?
Mhm.
So this is a very brief document. I know we have a little bit more work to do here. And we're requesting approval because we've kind of figured out the math for everything. And the main thing left to do is identify very specifically where additional work needs to be done to build that back up so that none of the existing pavement telegraphs through and we don't run into the same issue in a couple of years with the freezing and thawing process. So you would go to the next. That identifies basically the square footage and area of work that we're looking at. I guess we can get into the financials of that now. The main point being that we had to spend some of the funding that was originally assigned to the other project here to get it back up to where it should be so we don't run into future issues. So if you would go to the BG3 on that one, it's the top document. So in looking at numbers, this is where we're trenching out the existing issue areas and rebuilding the soil base under it to bring it back up and make sure there's nothing in there that's going to cause future problems, and then paving over the entire lot again so that everything's consistent.
I have another question, just curiosity. What are the special inspections for something like this?
It would be probably like subsoil.
Yeah, something like that, and we would, of course, need to map where all the cracks are and the areas that we need to focus more than others.
I was just curious.
I mean, I didn't know you had to inspect that, but I guess we have to inspect everything.
So there's also a decent amount of contingency built into this one, just because we know, and talking with Trent on site, that we could run into some issues below grade. And that should prepare us to deal with those without any additional funds.
I'm sure you looked at all this, but there's no water lines or any underground electrical lines underneath any of this?
There are some electrical lines, but we know where they are. The main concern we've got is where they buried the old school. That's the problem now. That's why as that decomposes, that parking lot sunk several areas. We just got those soft spots that are going to have to be mitigated to make it work out. We don't really know what we'll get into until we get into it.
So how long of a project will this be?
Do you have an estimate?
Like I said, it depends on what we find when we start digging. I mean,
Okay, my next question is, when is this project going to start?
That's to be determined too, I imagine.
I'm-
You would like to think you could do it over a break, but really it needs to be done in the summer, I would think. I mean, I would think it's maybe going to be 6 weeks or something for
I
that.
think it's definitely too late to do it this year, but I agree that doing it in the summer would definitely be easier.
Mhm. help Trent, Ken a lot, and Trent.
Ken's over there
Yes.
getting ready to have a meltdown.
That's enough shade of gray, he said.
And then that one has essentially the same BG2 document as the other project. It's all civil and site-based, so there's nothing really to worry about energy compliance with HVAC systems and lighting, that sort of stuff. We're asking for approval for BG2, BG3, and construction documents on these two, so we can get everything together, get the contracts together, and start bidding and advertising.
Do you want to have any questions for us?
So even though the bidding will start now, per se, it will be locked in even if it begins in the summer?
That's where the cost should be.
Because you said it come in under, so
Oh,
we're
yeah.
holding you to that.
We're gonna lock that in.
So
Is that documented?
Just to clarify, make sure I heard you right. We think both projects would happen in summer of '24.
I would say
That's the intent.
questions.
All of those documents that you referenced are under operations actions.
Well, thank you so much. And, you might as well introduce yourself. I know who you are, but you are one of our own, of our very own,
I didn't know if I was gonna have to speak or not, but, Lucas Jones, nice to see everybody again. I'm back, working on something that I care about.
Good. It's good to have you back. Number 5 is our operations and actions. We need to, everything else I seen on there was routine. I didn't see anything that was different. With that being said, we have a motion to accept operations and actions.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 6A is review and approve the monthly financial reports. Ms. Jenny, did you have anything that you wanted to share?
We, not anything specific, but do you have any questions for me this evening?
Thank you, Ms. Jenny. That being said, need a motion to approve operations and actions.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Item 6B is review and approve the KETS first offer of assistance. This is a routine thing that we've done in the past for many years. Ms. Carey, do you want to elaborate?
This is just our routine CATS offer, and like that you mentioned that we get this every year, and
It's technology money. They'll give it to us if we match.
yeah, we have to match it. So
Well,
and we
Is it
need to
still-
do that. Yes.
Brandon, so I think we can say it all night long.
That every penny counts.
$27,118 that we would be matching.
We're budgeted to do that.
Yes.
Move to approve.
All in favor? Item 6C, review and approve the KSBA policy change draft for disposal of school property, the first reading.
Brandon, I'm gonna let you
So
share about that.
this is related to technology. The process for removing technology from our inventory now is really complicated. Really, I have to give you the serial numbers, let you guys approve it. I'm asking you guys in this policy to give me permission to decide which devices we're junking and then tell you, here's the serial numbers that we're junking. So you guys will still know. So as of now, we're having some Chromebooks that are old. We've got some that are stored up. We've not really got rid of any. We could also give some devices to students. And it'd be easier for us to give devices to students if I didn't have to, and even if we junk a device. So if we junk a device, we can get a recycling company to come in and they will document all of our serial numbers and they will tell us what we did and they will give us a little bit of money. For devices, again, that are old and not being used anymore, we already salvage screens and other things, lots of parts from them if we need them. But basically, instead of you guys giving me permission, I would be able to do it and then I would tell you what I did. So it's just a policy change that will make my life much easier. Part of my plan would be to give seniors, as they graduate their Chromebooks, they will receive that Chromebook their freshman year. By the time they get to a senior, it's an old device. I can take it and keep it and use it for parts. I would rather give that device to that student and and we can do that. We'll have to take it off our network.
that'd be
Cause a
great.
lot of kids start college and don't have anything.
It's
so
still
that
not the
would be-
best device, but it also may.
It's better
This
than
is eight
that.
times.
The warranties will be expired. I mean, their warranties are expired. When I keep it, we've been keeping them, but we talked about it for a couple of years, if there's a way possible, this is the way possible, if you guys give us permission to, basically, give me permission to do that. That's.
So, motion made.
Second.
All in favor?
this
You
is
know,
the
I would
first
add,
reading.
I didn't,
First
yeah, we have to do a second reading
Yes.
to this,
Gotcha.
but, you know, I would go as far as to say that, I don't know what it stated in the, as far as reporting. I don't know if that needs to even be reported to the board as much as it just does to Ms. Carey. I mean,
I still
you
don't, I'm not asking for no oversight.
yeah, I know what you're meaning, but
I'm
I,
saying-
Put it even in his board reports.
yeah, I mean, I don't think that that's something that we need to.
It's just, it could be lots of money, it's what we wanna do everything the right way.
Thank you, Brent.
Thank you, Raymond.
Item 6D, review and approve the district coordinator position for Pritchard Committee grant.
Yes, so as you all know, we have received a $1.5 million grant through the Pritchard Committee for 5 years, and we're thrilled and excited about this. This will serve our middle school and high school, so very, very excited about what this is gonna mean for our district. One of the requirements of the grant is we hire a district coordinator position, that is fully funded through the grant for 5 years. We are asking to post this position, and I'm gonna pull it up, in a manner that will allow us to get the most qualified applicants. So we are asking your permission for us to post this. Supervisor of Instruction certification, and what that would mean is, depending on who we hire, that might be a classified position if it's someone with a bachelor's degree outside of education, or if it's someone with a principal or a teaching degree or this instructional supervisor certification, then that would be a certified position. So we would like to keep this broad. For instance, we might have a Frisky or someone with a bachelor's degree that's serving in a Frisky position that might want to apply, and that would be a classified position. But if we had a principal apply, that would be a certified position. So we're asking your permission to post it that way, and then I can explain on our next item what that would mean for the salary schedule.
I didn't have that on my Google Drive, so I didn't get to read the job description.
Okay, the primary responsibility of this position will be working with our Friskies and working with community engagement, working with parents, working with community groups. The role is to make that middle school and high school a hub of the community, where there's after-school events taking place, where there's tutoring taking place, where there's summer events taking place, and the funding will come through this grant to be able to do that. But this person would be organizing and working with the Friskies, working with counselors, working with principals, but then also community agencies, the hospital, the health department, everything within our community.
How many days?
It's 240.
240. Do you want any questions besides me? I always ask questions.
No, that's great. And this is gonna be really wonderful. We're serving our elementary schools through Save the Children in this capacity. And we all know that so often when kids get to middle school and high school, the parental participation drops off. And so this is just an effort to increase that and get our parents and our community really involved in our middle school and high school. It's be good work.
And our job description and salary is similar to what other districts with the grant have
It's
done?
required within the grant.
Okay.
So it's stated exactly what we have to do, and we have an allotted amount that we are to serve. And it is outlined specifically in the grant that this has to be a director's position. That was the stipulation, and they wanted it to be on the level with all other department heads, with the district reporting to the superintendent at least weekly. So it's very structured within the grant.
Move to approve.
Okay. We have a first and a second, all in favor? Item 6E, review and approve the 23-24 salary schedule.
So if you will pull that up, we have given you the both options of what that would look like if that was hired in a classified position, what the salary would be, and then what that would look like if it was hired in a certified position. So we would like approval to hire either way, depending on who the best applicant is for this position. And again, the amounts are outlined in the grant and fully funded through the grant. So no general fund money.
Now, I'm gonna ask you a question about the actual grant. So what all services will we be able to spend this money on? I know it's gonna cover the salary of this individual, but what other, I know you got a plan.
Well, I actually would like to report back to you at our December meeting, because on December 7th and 8th, we are all going to training to find out that very information. So then I will be able to come back and give you a solid update on that. That's what that is about. We will have to create a district plan, but we'll do a needs assessment, and it really aligns perfectly with the pillar work that we're doing, because we'll be looking at that we were already looking at that in our pillar work, and then this will just be another facet of that. But December 7th and 8th, I'll be able to share more with you.
Need a motion to approve the salary schedule?
Motion moved.
Second.
All in favor? Item 7, review the superintendent's personnel action report. I was just curious if we have any jobs posted right now.
We have one job posted at Roundstone, a teaching position at Roundstone, and that's all of that.
Item 8 is department reports. If anyone would like to share, we would love to hear from you. If not, we'll just take what you sent our way. Trent, you have anything? No?
No, there's one thing on here that I think is pretty exciting, that the gas wells that we have at the high school, I don't know how many people know that we have those. We've got 2 orphan gas wells. One's down in the front yard, and it's just a small pipe that big maybe, but the other one's there at the baseball field, and it's got like a metering device, and it's just an eyesore. It always has been. There was a federal grant that came out through the Inflation Reduction Act that the state got some money, and Miss Carey and actually Josh Bray helped me get in touch with the right people. We've got that set up to remove those in a grant package. It won't cost us any money. They put it back in grass and sow it, and it's been leaking quite a bit of methane. We found out through this, so it's actually a safety hazard on that level too. Besides a snake maybe being in there that would bite you if it's growing up, but I'm excited to get rid of those. That'd be good.
That's the else thing for you.
That's all I'd be really. Oh, yeah. That's good.
Doing all right.
Anyone else want to share anything? Item 9, superintendent communication.
Yes, I actually have several things I'll communicate
We
today.
wanna hear.
First, I would like to share that this afternoon I met with the Superintendent Advisory Council, and our year-long work for this year is to develop what is called a portrait of a learner or a portrait of a graduate. We're still trying to determine our title, but we are looking at what competencies do we want all of our students as they travel through and progress through Rockcastle County Schools and they graduate. What do we want them to be able to do? So we've got a really good start on that. We're going to be sending out a survey following the week after Thanksgiving to all of our staff, and we're also going to be surveying some high school students to get their input. At this point, the competencies that the group has created are: we expect our students to be effective communicators, innovative learners. Innovative leader, we've changed this afternoon, resilient learner, active collaborators, critical thinkers, and responsible citizens. So we're in the process of defining what does that actually mean and what does that look like. So that work is ongoing, and I appreciate the work of those teachers that are giving their time to this year-long project. But I'm really excited about that and what that will mean. We're going to develop some project-based learning that will go along with that and create rubrics so that when our students graduate, that they know that they're ready for the future. So really excited about that work. Also tonight as we speak, Fox 56 News was here today, and they did a feature on our technology grant and the interactive learning panels that we have in the classroom. So That is supposed to air tonight at 6, and it will be back on later. And Brandon and Miss Jenny were both interviewed today, and Brandon took them to the middle school, and they were in some classrooms and seeing students and seeing kids interacting with that. So if you get a chance to tune in to Box 56 tonight, and they're supposed to send us a link, so we'll share that on our website as well if we, when we get that. The next thing I want to do is just say thank you for supporting me in attending the Insert Conference in California. It was fabulous learning, and as you all know, I'm really big on professional learning for our staff, and I think that's really, really important to continue to grow, and that was an opportunity for me to go and grow, and I just had the honor to be in the room with a lot of amazing educators from all over the United States, and it was really enlightening and refreshing, and I just wanted to say thank you for supporting that, and I appreciate the opportunity to get to go there and participate in that. Also, Mr. Thomas has uploaded in his department report some information about our test scores. I do want to just quickly comment on some strengths that we recognized. If you all will recall, when Mr. Bussell came and addressed the board, this would have been last school year, and we had shared with you that the high school was participating in a grant focusing on post-secondary readiness. The high school raised their post-secondary readiness score from 66.3 to 91.5, which was really amazing work. And I just want to credit them for, they have been looking at each individual student and looking at their pathway, looking at, did they meet ACT benchmark? Are they a completer? Did they pass their end of course exam? Just looking at all of these and looking at student by student by student and tracking every kid to make sure that they're post-secondary ready. And this year they're even taking that one step further, and we're going to give what's called the Coyote. That is a form of assessment that is correlates closely to the ACT, but it's another option for a student to show their proficiency. So we're going to start giving that. I think we had given that some years in the past, but have gotten away from it. So we're going to go back to that. And we're also looking at some work-ready options for students. So giving students the opportunity to go out into the community and do some work in the community in the afternoons that will work, be in line with the pathway that they're on for graduation. So really appreciate the work that the high school's done. That's been huge. The high school also was blue in their climate and survey, which was really awesome too. I mean, they've just done so much work there, and I appreciate them. They overall transitioned from orange to yellow overall, and they're making gains. If they continue in this, I fully expect them to be green next year, and just real proud of the work that they're doing. And Miss Brandy Smith, the JD, and Mr. Mike, they're just really focused right now on this work, and just real proud of the work that they've done. We've also, Broadhead and the middle school were both green this year in reading and math, so I'm really excited about that work. The middle school does continue to have the TSI label, which is associated with our special education population. Mr. Thomas and I had a meeting again this morning, and Ms. Rebecca, we've been talking about what can we do to work through that issue with our special ed students. So have some plans in place that we're going to implement, and hopefully bring in some outside assistance to help with that as well. Our next steps, all of our principals have been working on action plans for their specific building with their teachers. And in your department reports, you'll see what those action plans are. But our primary focus has been, and I know Mr. Thomas has already referenced this, but is creating mapping and pacing guides for every teacher in the district that is focused on the standard that they should be teaching in their classroom. We've never had that before, and I think that this is just the important step to make sure that our teachers are focused on the correct standard for their grade level. So we've had those are created, and they're being implemented. Our principals are doing walkthroughs, 10 walkthroughs a week, and having discussions with teachers about what they're seeing in their classrooms related to the standards work. And so a lot of good positive learning taking place. We were able to provide Kagan training to every staff member last week. That is a student engagement training. We've never been able to provide it before. We have always wanted to, but it's very, very expensive. but we used some of our ESSER funds, and we felt like that no better way to serve our students than by serving our teachers and making sure that they're receiving their professional learning. We had great reviews from that.
What does that look like? I mean, what
It-
is it?
Mr. Thomas, do you want to share more?
Well-
It's structure based. It's ways to engage students in the classroom versus everyone sitting in rows and you're calling on one student and only one student is engaged. So maybe it's doing partner talks, it's groups, you're moving around the classroom, you're asking each other questions, you're lots of different structures that they have learned to do to engage all students all the time in their classroom. So it's good. We got the reviews back yesterday from the teachers on the training, and they ranked the training on its effectiveness, and it was on a scale from 1 to 5, and the elementary was 4.8, and our middle school and high school teachers ranked it as a 4.4. So I think that was an overall success, that they felt like they valued that day of learning. So lots of great work happening all across the district. The principals are so engaged. I'm really proud of the work that they're doing and working with PLCs with their staff, and just lots of good instructional talk. So I appreciate everybody's efforts in moving us forward. Mr. Thomas, you want to add anything?
No, I mean, I think I made this comment, at the last board meeting. Test scores and instruction is this moving target. We're ultimately never satisfied. Certainly we have several areas that we want to celebrate. We're very happy, like as Carrie mentioned, the work that's been going on at the high school, that was very intentional, and I think the commitment to that paid off. Certainly we in all honesty, we have areas that we want to grow, and we've already put forth a lot of attention towards that. We've had lots of good conversation, and really since we started to kind of have an idea of what our scores were going to be several weeks ago, we started to be proactive and get very specific with our action plans.
I guess I have a question. Okay. Talking about the standards.
Mm-hmm.
Since I've served on this board, every few years, something changes. Either the way they test statewide, so I guess my question is, are those standards gonna change anytime soon?
They go through a revision period
How often is
periodically.
that?
Every 3 years, they revise. Is that correct? 3 years?
I think it varies.
Yeah. Depending on the timeline of but yes, like I think last year, we've had some science and social studies work, and they do change, but they don't change dramatically enough that they're not gonna change dramatically enough that it's gonna make a difference if you just have to focus on that.
Okay, I guess that was gonna
Yeah,
be.
it's not
Okay.
gonna just be like, I'm gonna throw all of these out and start over.
So this was year 2, or was this year 1?
This is year 1.
Okay.
So this is a baseline.
Okay, this was.
You received multiple scores this year. You received a status score, which is your actual score of how you performed this year. You also received a change score, and that was determined by how you did in your status score last year comparison. So your change score could have been, if you grew 2 points, your change score could have been +2. If you declined 2 points, then your change score could have been -2. So you received a status, a change, and then you received an overall indicator score. And that indicator score was determined by your status score, either plus or minus your change score. So if you decreased, then you're docked on change, but you're also docked on your indicator score because you would be going backwards. So the importance of all of that is the importance of growth. We have to show growth in order to perform well in this system. It's actually very complicated. I think one of our previous commissioners said that we should have an assessment system that you can explain easily in the grocery store line. We do not currently have that. It's very complicated. It's hard to understand.
And I think that goes along with, when you do not see a reflection of what you feel like you worked so hard
Mm-hmm.
to accomplish,
Mm-hmm.
I think that goes back to the confusion of trying to figure out how to figure it out. Yeah. Did that even
But
make sense?
yes.
It didn't really make very much sense.
But
See, there
I
you go.
really do think the key, and Matt and I had this conversation before the meeting started, the key is focusing on grade level standards. Every student in your classroom gets exposed to a grade level standard, and then we remediate during certain special times during the school day. But when you have a classroom of students in front of you and it's third grade math, and you are teaching third grade math to every student, and then when a student is behind, then they're being pulled out, or maybe someone is pushing in and helping them in a time that is set aside just for remediation. But we've got to shift away from a remediation mindset that we're in third grade, and I'm just saying third grade, it may be fourth grade, it may be eighth grade, and we have a few students behind, so we're not teaching that core standard. We're teaching maybe a second grade standard, but then at the end of the school year, our kids are tested on their third grade standard. So we have to make sure that every child is exposed to that every day.
There's a lot of research that's starting to come out, accelerated education versus remediation. And the research is pointing more towards that all kids, as Ms. Carey stated, need to be accelerated with their education, and then with remediation at select times. But we would like for all Rockcastle County students to be offered Tier 1 instruction
On their grade level.
And then based on some of the data that we have, then we can individualize for areas that where students may be testing lower. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that does.
So we're very much trying to make that shift this year and we've looked at master schedules. We're making certain that students aren't being pulled out. If you're a struggling reader, and that you're not being pulled out during your class's reading time, because that's where you need to be. You need to be in your class receiving that core instruction, and then pulled out at a different time to receive remediation. Because if you're never exposed to it, you're never going to pick that up.
And like at elementary level, the iReady, that all aligns with all of the standards that we,
Yes.
everything.
Yes, it's fully aligned. Yeah, it's fully aligned to Kentucky standards.
I think the curriculum work and the standards work is great. I think you couple that with engagement,
Yes.
and that goes a long way. So I think student engagement is good use of time in the classroom. It's really critical to what we're doing, but getting students actively involved in the learning process and having high expectations for them can go a long way.
That's one of the best things about the Kagan training that we just had, is it places more that learning, places more of the responsibility on the student. And so we've had a lot of conversation the last couple of years about trying to build that up, and you know, we're starting to see a whole lot more of that in our classrooms, and it's certainly a direction we want to continue.
I think that, you know, when you look at the red, yellow, orange, green, you know, I think it's so misleading. And by that, yes, we always want to be in the green, you know, but I think that when you see those other colors, sometimes it takes away from the actual work that is going on in the classroom. Because I think our staff is doing extraordinary work in a whole lot of levels besides just education. I think they're meeting needs. We're feeding them. We're giving them a hug. We're doing a lot of things that they're missing out on at home. So I hope if any of our staff seen anything that discouraged them, I hope that maybe we can encourage them, because we believe in them. We believe in what they're doing, and it's a whole lot more than those colors. I do believe that so wholeheartedly. So
That's the whole basis behind our community-based accountability, is recognizing and celebrating everything that we are doing well, and everything. There's so much more to school. Everything has to play into teaching and learning, but there's so much more. We, you know, look at the work that transportation is doing, and Mr. Ken, and we're getting kids to school safely, and that's just so important. And the food service, what Mr. Chris is doing, and you know, making sure that every kid is fed. There's just so much more. Having clean buildings, and there's just so much that goes into taking care of a child. And Mr. Reppert focusing on safety and making sure all of our kids are safe, and we're social emotional learning and mental health, and it's just all plays into teaching and learning, and you can never quantify that in a color.
No, not
ever. So I hope that the work we're doing in this community-based accountability helps our staff realize that we value teaching and learning, and we want every kid to leave post-secondary ready and ready for the workforce or ready to enter into a college, but we also value so much more. So.
Thank you, Ms. Carey. Matt, do you have anything?
I jotted down 3 things real quick. One, our attendance numbers, Mr. Repper, look really good. So even though you came in late, I'll brag on you.
Better than last year.
They
November
were
last
quite
year
a bit
was-
better than last year. That's awesome.
I told folks last year we didn't, as a district, we didn't have above 90% for the whole month of November. So in 22. So this year we're much better. So I'm hopeful that continues. Get through the winter without having some major illness outbreaks.
That's great. I noticed we had local apples, Mr. Bishop. That's nice. And I just want to say how thankful, since we're Thanksgiving time, how thankful I am for you all and your commitment to growth and get better. And every time I talk to somebody, it's like, what can we do better? How can we get our finances better? How can we get our reporting better? How can we get rid of gas wells we don't need that we have to mow around? Whatever the thing is, how can we recruit teachers better? So thank you all for that. We appreciate it.
I promise before Matt said that, that's what I was gonna say. It's, Thanksgiving month and we're thankful for you guys and what you do. Just thankful for this whole school system and just since I've been on the board, just the improvement and hard work that you guys have done and all the staff and what you do for kids. Like it really does make a difference in their lives. So I hope you guys can take a few days this month and, break away from your job duties and enjoy your families as well. That's it.
Just kind of echo them. I know you all put in countless hours, more than what we can imagine. So I'm thankful for that as a mom, as a board member. Just thank you all.
The only thing I would have to say is the same thing. Thank you. It's Thanksgiving. Be thankful. I'm thankful for a lot of things. I'm thankful for the freedom we have in this country, that we can say that we're thankful. It does not happen everywhere in the world. I would like to say special thanks to everybody that has touched my children's lives in Rockcastle County Schools. My adult children remember what Mr. Coffey did. They remember what Mr. J.D. Bustle did. They remember what Miss Kathy Howard did. Just every individual. And I just, I can remember my teachers. I can remember how they touched my lives, so it's a big thing. The other thing I want to say is, Miss Jenny, my condolences to your family. Give your husband our love and our let him know that your family has been in my prayers. I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving. With that being said, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Y'all have a good night. Thank you. Okay, we need about